Hi, my name is Dr. C. I'm a board-certified family medicine physician. I am not a plastic surgeon, nor a dermatologist, nor a makeup artist by any means, but today I'm going to be performing plastic surgery on my face with makeup. I love aesthetic medicine, so I'm really excited to do this. Before getting into the video, I just wanted to say that it's not content that I am the most proud of because a lot of the measurements and angles that I used are utilized to achieve a standard of beauty that's considered attractive in just a small part of the world. And by applying makeup in the way that I do in this video, I'm embarrassed to admit that it does make me feel prettier, but I'm also a little embarrassed and ashamed of the message it can convey because I feel like it encourages a certain standard of beauty, and that standard of beauty is something that I feel like I'll never achieve, and because of that I do feel defeated because of it. I just wanted to say I created this look because I wanted to see how it would turn out. I don't mean for it to be offensive to anyone, and I just want to state that everyone is beautiful in their own right, and that should always be celebrated. So let's get started. After all my skincare is complete, I prep the skin with moisturizer. It's good to have a good base to apply your makeup on. So let's just pin this hair back. I am just using some CeraVe AM sunscreen moisturizer. The makeup products that I use are incredibly drying, unfortunately, so I like to add moisture before, especially in the under eye area. The reason that I have such drying formulas is because those were the first that the Sephora makeup artist recommended to me, and I refuse to get any new makeup until I have used all of the product that I have. So now that that's done, it's time to get into the fun part. So I'm just using a Cover FX concealer that is lighter than my skin. Similar to the technique that Scott Barn uses, I like to do all of my contour and highlighting underneath my foundation. I realized that I forgot my primer. I have a little bit of product here. Just FYI, I removed the skin softening feature just to produce raw footage for you guys. So I am going to apply some of this stuff underneath my eye area, of course. The next place that I'm going to apply this stuff is on my zygoma or cheekbone. With highlight, you want to use it to bring things forward. An interesting little bit of information is that when fillers get injected, they get injected at the height of the zygoma or cheekbone, which is approximately goes from the top of the tragus, this little meaty part of the ear, to the end of the nostril, from the corner of the eye to that line that was created, and from the end of the nostril to the end of the eye. So in that region right here is considered the highest point of the cheekbone, and injectors generally inject around this area. So I'm gonna highlight this area of injection. As you age, you use a lot of the fat in your cheeks, so I'm gonna add some concealer to the cheek area. In addition, I am going to put some more concealer onto the nasolabial folds. They become more prominent as you age. I like to go around the mouth. I have a lot of discoloration there. Just some blemishes there. I do have a little bit of a larger nose, so plastic surgeons may suggest the insertion of a chin implant just to offset a larger nose. So I'm gonna try and mimic that by adding product to my chin, and this area loses a little bit of volume as well as you age, so I'll add a little bit there. So I like to blend as soon as possible with this product because it dries very quickly. For a dramatic look, I'm using a concealer that is 3 to 4 shades lighter than my natural skin tone, and one with a warm undertone to cancel out my hyperpigmentation without creating a gray cast on my skin. Picking up some excess with a makeup sponge. I'm going to drag that highlight a little bit over the temporal area. This area loses volume as well as you age. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Again, underneath the eye, the top of the zygoma, over the nasolabial folds, at the cheek area, around the marionette lines, which present here and here, to help bring those areas forward. They develop as you age. Again, dragging it up to the temple. Just gonna drag some excess down the tip of my nose. I don't really know how to perform a brow lift with makeup or surgically, but I guess that's why people apply highlight right here. Try and push this area forward, maybe even create a lift. So we will try that as well. So basically I like to apply light anywhere I would inject a filler or would want to bring that area forward. I have a little bit of a divot on my nose. That area could be ameliorated with a little bit of filler. So it's right there. So I apply some highlight there to help bring that forward and minimize that indentation. It was created by injecting steroids to address some acne scars. I would not recommend that to anyone because I got hypopigmentation, which is a side effect, particularly for persons with darker skin. In addition, I got scarring and fat atrophy, which presents as depressions in the skin. So I would not recommend that. Next is the contouring. That's exciting. I am using a darker concealer. I can't give any information about the ingredients and its relevancy to any medical claims or its safety. I just purchased this a really long time ago. It was pretty cheap and I just stick with it because, again, I refuse to buy any more product without using whatever it is I have left. Just a thing that I do. I am going to use this color to create a more well-defined jaw as well as address the submental fullness or like this double chin that I have. So this video is not intended to idolize a certain kind of beauty, a beauty that is promoted by the media. I don't mean any offense by this video. I just thought it would be fun and interesting to create a facial structure that mimics what medical professionals within that field try to achieve using both surgical and non-surgical means. I'm gonna apply the contour to my forehead. Like I said, I try and avoid this area because as you age, there is temporal fat loss, and furthermore, there is a sagging of the eyebrows. So, applying some on my forehead. And then I like to carve out the cheekbone following the zygoma. So you just follow the bone. It makes the application of contour way easier because you are actually following an outline. This is gonna be one heck of a blend. It doesn't have to be perfect because I am going to be applying foundation over this. Another thing, I don't mind if the contour goes into this region, and I don't like to highlight this region either. There is the option to inject that area with a neurotoxin such as Botox or Xeomin, and that's injected in the masseter muscles, which are the muscles, the chewing muscles, to create more of an angular or heart-shaped face to further define the cheekbone. As you age, this area here, the philtrum, becomes longer. Furthermore, in the ideal lip, the upper lip projects more than the lower lip by 2 millimeters. So to try and achieve that, I am going to contour here, which will mimic a projection of my upper lip and hopefully shorten this philtrum. I want my lips to look bigger in general, so I really want to create a line underneath the lip as well, but I am gonna hold off on that. Finally, I'm so excited because we've gotten to the nose. So I actually had to look up the measurements of the nose that plastic surgeons often try to achieve. There's different kinds of nose jobs. There are nose jobs that are performed on ethnic individuals, which differs from the angles that I'm going to try and achieve with makeup. These angles are considered ideal for Caucasianoid noses. Those are the words that the text that I reference uses, not my words. I mean, no offense by that. I was just trying to achieve as dramatic of a look that I could using these methods. So there are a ton of measurements that address the depth of the nose, the length of the nose, and the width of the nose. So the first thing that I'm going to address is the nasal tip. There is something called the nasolabial angle. It's an angle that's created from the upper lip to the lower border of your nose. That angle is considered ideal in men to be 90 degrees, and for females, it's considered aesthetically pleasing to create an angle of 100 to 120 degrees. I have some nasal tip ptosis in which my nasal tip is a bit droopy, so I'm gonna address that as well as the nasolabial angle with some contour. So I would say, based on that angle, I would erase this part of my nose. So that ideal distance of the radix, which is right under the eyebrows, to the nasal tip is the stomian, or the area in between the lips, to the chin. So my nose is a little long, so I feel like this will also decrease the length of my nose. Next, I'm going to address the width of my nose and the definition of my nasal tip. The width of the nose should be the width of one eye. Again, these are all measurements that are used to create an improved shape of the nose through surgical means. So my nose is a bit wider than that. So I'm gonna try to use contour to minimize my nasal width. Okay. The super tip area, which is right above the tip, is considered more aesthetically pleasing when it's concave. If I were to do that, this depression is going to be more highlighted, so I'm just going to try to go right below that to create a dip in the nose. And then finally, to create a more defined nasal tip, I am going to create 2 skinny lines to the base of my nose, as narrow as I can get it. Like I said before, there are so many angles that I found that are involved in creating the quote perfect nose. If I were to try and apply all of them, my entire nose would be brown. I'm not kidding. I don't want to pick up too much contour or blend too much because I'm applying foundation on top. This kind of makes me sad, actually, because there are so many changes going on here. This is a lot. Next is the foundation. So again, I have an interesting combination of shades. I have a shade that is too dark for my skin and a shade that is too light for my skin. I'm using certain products, but you can use any products that you would like. This is quite a drying formula. I do have pretty greasy skin when I apply makeup, but it's like even too drying for my skin. I am going to try and sheer, I forgot to prime my skin. I'm gonna try and sheer out the foundation. A little half drop of beauty oil I am going to mix this all together. All of the makeup I am applying is applied with a stippling motion because I have a lot of texture to my skin. Don't forget the ears and neck, and this kind of fills the holes pretty well. The reason that I am going for these products is because I was informed that these products are dermatologist formulated and I suffer from a lot of breakouts. The primers that I use are actually by Cover FX as well. I use 2 primers. The first one that I apply is one that contains salicylic acid, which helps with my acne prone skin, but I don't like using salicylic acid containing products very often because I am applying already maximal topical therapy for my acne, and I feel like the addition of salicylic acid aggravates my skin with everything else I put on it. Now I'm just setting my makeup with a translucent powder. Before you apply any powder, be sure to use your finger to smooth out any creases that were formed. Again, I'm using a stippling motion. So now I'm just applying a cream blush to the apples of my cheeks. I recommend doing this under your powder because it's going to look better. I forgot to do that, and because I just love the product, I'm doing it over the powder. I like to apply to my lip to create a harmony of color. Now I'm just applying more powder. Then I apply a powdered contour over where I cream contoured. Then with a light touch, I am using a lighter colored powder to place over all the areas that I previously highlighted. Here I am placing a powdered blush over where I applied the cream blush. I'm going to try and skim through the rest of this. Because I have hooded eyes, I like to apply my eye makeup with my eyes open. This helps minimize the appearance of hooded eyes and creates depth, similar to performing a surgical upper eyelid blepharoplasty, which is excision of excessive eyelid skin. I like to apply my eye makeup with a stippling or a pressing motion because that prevents me from rubbing and pulling on the delicate skin around my eyes. I usually accentuate my almond-shaped eyes when I apply eye makeup, but I wanted to try something different, so I am applying my eye makeup using an elliptical shape to make my eyes rounder. Then I'm going to curl my lashes and apply mascara. This is the By Terry Expert Twist Brush. I usually backcomb my lashes to create more of a dramatic appearance. I love this mascara because it's not irritating to my eyes and it's not waterproof, so it's easy to remove. Moving on to brows. First brushing up the hair and then using an eyebrow pencil to try and cover up any eyebrow hairs that I was too lazy to pluck. Next, applying some eyebrow pomade, followed by brow powder to set that all in place. Next, lining my lips, creating a gradient of shading on the most lateral aspects or outer corners of my lip. And topping that all off with a liquid lipstick. So this is the finished look. I tried my best. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and interesting. While I do find it interesting, I think beauty comes in all shapes and sizes, and we shouldn't all strive to achieve this particular ideal that's been created for us in order to be considered beautiful or consider ourselves beautiful. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. If you're not already, please subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. Also, if you're into goal setting and personal development, I have another channel dedicated to just that. It's called Living Listed. It'll be linked in the description box. Again, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.